So Gemma, thank you so much for chatting to me today about the campaign. So how did you first hear about it?
I read a news article, I think, about the campaign and about how it started, and I remember thinking, God, this makes so much sense. Why has no one pointed out that this isn't okay before? And I immediately, it really struck a chord.
Absolutely. Why do you think it struck such a chord with you?
I think anyone who's grown up in this country, or anyone growing up anywhere really, there's a lot of pressure on young women already to, look a certain way, to feel that they have to be attractive to boys in a certain way. And, growing up, the Sun had a huge influence, I think, and has a huge influence on our culture and how young boys and girls feel that they have to behave towards each other. And my own experiences, I think, definitely.
So did it make you feel sort of quite awkward as a child ever to come across page 3 and just sort of make you realise that you're a woman who, well, one day when older you will develop breasts and you'll be quite aware that they could be sexualised? Was that quite a daunting thought for you when you saw page 3 as a child?
Yeah, I just remember thinking it was strange. Like, why is there a lady in the paper with her clothes off? Why isn't there a man? Why is it just a lady? And also, I think from a very young age, you are aware if there's an image and it's sexualized. You know there's something, about that. If you see the way that men might look at it. And it definitely makes you more aware of your own body. And yeah.
So for you, what is it that is wrong with page 3?
Well, I think it's important to point out what the arguments aren't about. And for me, it's not about censorship. It's not about restricting free speech or, there's nothing inherently wrong with a picture of a naked woman. That isn't sexist in itself. It's all about the context. But when you put a picture of a young woman half naked in a newspaper and in one of our most widely read mainstream newspapers, that definitely is sexist. I think when you look at the paper and you think, oh, the men, they make the decisions, they're sportsmen, they are, going out and doing things, whereas as a woman, you're there for decoration. You're there to be looked at, you're there as a sex object. Yeah, that's what is wrong with it for me. And I think, there's nothing. What's great about the campaign is it's very targeted and it's just talking specifically about that context. It's not saying that all glamour modelling is bad or that nudity is terrible. I think it's specifically talking about that, and people can support the campaign for whatever reason they choose.
I think it's a really good way to put it, and I think that hits the nail on the head of what the campaign believes in and what we sort of all stand for.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant that it's had so much widespread support from so many different groups and different people, men, women, all ages, different backgrounds, and that's its strength, really.
So what would you say to someone who hasn't signed the petition yet or who's completely new to the fact that there is a campaign to end page 3?
Well, I would never presume to tell anyone what they should do. To me, the arguments, once I'd read things and thought about it, it seemed obvious to me. But I would just say, have a think about. Well, one way to think of it would be think about what the arguments would be for page 3. It's really hard, actually, to kind of justify why it's there. I think the arguments against and the potential harm that it can do is, it's obvious. And it's interesting, people dismiss it as being harmless. I think it's the opposite. I think the fact that it's this kind of photo in the mainstream, it's actually more toxic, it's more harmful. People talk about, well, there's internet pornography and there are other media that objectify women, and yes, that's true, and you can have your other arguments about that for and against, but I think this is a sexist image of a woman every day in our most read paper.
Very well put. So as you know, we've got a little poem going on to try and just spread the word about the No More Page 3 campaign, and we've had Caroline Quentin and Kate Smurthwaite add to it, and it was kicked off by the founder Lucy Holmes. So far I'll try and breeze through this. On a partially...
It's on my phone.
Oh, go for it. On a partially cloudy day in 1970, the men at the Sun were wondering what to put on page 3. We don't know the details, but we can assume that there weren't many women on the team in the room. I've got an idea, said an old hack named Pete, as he stubbed out his fag and leapt to his feet. So Gemma, what next 2 lines would you like to add?
Okay. To sell loads more papers, a surefire way is we show a young lass in her pants every day.
Perfect. All right, Gemma, thank you so much. And if you haven't signed the petition already, get on there. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're all over the place. So do share this video, and thanks for watching.